Hello, folks. It's me, Oliver Tallman. I'm here on my roof because I've got something to say. A lot of people have something to say, but I come to the conclusion that maybe what I have to say is worth listening to. I don't have a concrete, essay for it yet. We'll see if I get around to doing that. I just wanted to make this video because I wanted to get these ideas out there. Enough beating around the bush, as you say. For about 6 years now, I've been under the I've come to the conclusion that, well, the United States of America is a failed nation in a lot of sense. Or it will eventually become one. I believe this because of the way this country is now. It seems to me that we have two end states approaching. Either collapse and civil war, which more likely than not ends in a dictatorship of some kind, or doesn't look good, or slow descent into oligarchic control. Very cynical perspective on what is most likely to happen. The issues that prevail society are rapidly becoming completely unsolvable, and it's become clear that the government of the United States is completely non-functional, and there's simply not a reasonable alternative to it. Neither party is at all capable of solving the issue, and for every year that these issues grow, it only gets worse. And all the while, billion-dollar companies and their founders and Wall Street and these very powerful people, they simply only grow in power. It's already clear to me that, they have almost complete control already. They're just better at hiding how powerful they really are, even though it's pretty obvious. Their strength, their control, they can surveil you any day of the week. They know everything you do, or they can know everything you do. It wouldn't be hard. And there's little we can stop them from doing that if they wanted to. And money, power is the same thing. And these corporations are all founded with the goal of power, of money. And it's silly to assume that they simply stop at having a more billion amount of dollars and stop there and say, you know what, I'm not going to do anything else. No. They want power. They want more control over the levers of government. And, well, I think you are kidding yourself if you think they don't. None of what I'm saying here is particularly new. I bet you've thought it yourself, like, yeah, of course, but what are we going to do about it, right? Neither party is willing to do anything. Well, I have a solution. I don't know if it's a good solution. I don't know if it's the right solution. But I think it's a lot more than most people are offering. It's most reasonable people. I call it neofederalism. See, I think a main weakness, the underlying reason is that the power of the United States as a unified nation is simply too much. The power of the corporations, the power of these wealthy politicians is only possible through the ultimate size and strength of the nation as a whole. And the will of any one individual person is so minuscule compared to the wealth these people have. I think smaller democracies tend to be significantly stabler, can usually withstand more institutional shock. I think it's pretty clear. The founding fathers never intended it for it to get this big. They weren't creating a framework of checks and balances for a nation of 300 million people. They were creating one for, I don't know what the exact population was, but 3 million people, maybe less. The House of Representatives used to have one representative for like every 10,000 people. That might be not wholly accurate, but somewhere around there, significantly less than it is now, which is 700,000 people per one representative. And if you think that one representative, no matter how good that representative is, can accurately represent, in the literal sense of the word, 700,000 people, then again, you are kidding yourself. And the House of Representatives is the only very representative part of this democracy. I mean, the Senate it's the Senate. Alaska has the same amount of say as fucking California. That's pretty ridiculous. If you actually think about it. I mean, and the president is becoming more and more straight up just, you elect the dictator, because Congress has been completely paralyzed, in a sense of the word, since the 2000s, really. Like, it seems completely incapable of doing anything. It's taking longer and longer every time there's a government shutdown to actually run the government. The most basic minimum thing a government needs to function. The whole point of government is to run the state, and the state is barely being run. Only through presidential decree is it even possible now. And as seen in Russia, presidential decree does not end very well. So, okay, what's this idea of neofederalism, right? Well, I got it because, see, back in the early days, they had this thing called the Articles of Confederation. It didn't work out too very well, but because the federal government had no power at all, could not raise taxes, couldn't do anything, and that didn't lead to anything good. And they wanted a stronger federal government to be able to have a better United States. So the Constitution came about, right? Well, over 250 years, the power of the federal government has only increased and increased and increased, to the point where the states are basically just administrative divisions. They aren't really full governments by themselves any longer. And so the founding fathers' idea of federalism is dead. Modern federalism is just government. Is more unitarianism. One big government than many small governments feeding into a big government. And I don't think that's good. And the idea of neofederalism hopes to solve that. Many small governments connected through a collective defensive framework and run through a very limited neo-federal government that only has power to enforce democracy and a set of rights that apply to all peoples of this nation. Other than that, everything else is up to the states. And I think this because right now, people in New Hampshire and Alabama can decide what people in Arizona and Nevada can do in large cases of the day. In large cases, And that is not right. You should only have control. You should be able to say, try and word this better, but you can move it. Each state should control its own destiny. This idea of self-determination, right? Your community you should have a say in your community. If you don't elect a representative in Alabama, so the representative of Alabama still has an equal say as a representative of your district in the matters of the nation, and the matters of the nation affect all of us because of how unitarian the federal government has become. And I mean, I feel like I may have lost the plot here, and I don't know how many people just think I'm just fucking some crackpot, you know. But I hope that I'm trying to speak to something in all of you, because I believe strongly in democracy and liberty, and our democracy is cracking, and soon enough it may not exist in any form at all. I'm not saying it's a perfect system or everything's going to be solved instantly, and obviously there are constraints, but the way I see it is that the way things are headed, we either change the United States of America into something better, or the United States of America changes us into something worse.